Game 1, Match 1 of the round of 16 for ASL Vanguard League, everyone. Over here in the top left-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player. Give it up for KingZerg. And his dastardly opponent from ASL, representing only himself. It is the red Terran player, Taranis. You know, maybe we're seeing some shenanigans come out of KingZerg at the beginning of this. Could just be an early drone scout, but that is an incredibly early drone scout. We will see those lovely claws doing their work on the SCVs, trying to push them out. But beautiful, Taranis will switch out another SCV just to keep that Barracks production going. Now, I really like this map Terraform for TVZ, just because of how many attack paths around it are possible. And I know that's kind of the thing that everyone talks about on Terraform, but I really think it's cool with how maneuverable both these armies are. Either in TVT, ZVZ, or ZVT, you have really cool things that can happen if you have players that are good with multitasking and just flipping around the map. Lots of things can happen. And you can also kind of sneak around other people really easily. It's a map with a lot of possibilities and unit positioning, which is sometimes not as important. StarCraft 2, but is always really cool when you see players really hit the nail on the head when they have some sort of concave or a flank that you didn't really expect, which can happen a lot on Terraform. Taranis, though, opening the incredibly normal Reaper Expand, sending an SCV across the map, just to make sure. I'm guessing, well, okay, I'd say this would be some sort of bunker if we saw a second Reaper happening, but no, it's the CC. So this is just a really quick scout from Taranis. I don't know if this is the best idea since he does have the Reaper on the way, but maybe we'll see something come out of it. Just making a nice scout. Reaper actually is going to the top side of the map. This is kind of interesting. I like this. Maybe that SCV was just checking the natural base isn't done, or maybe that there isn't a natural base purely because in that case there could be a lot of lings possibly on the high ground waiting for the Reaper. For now though, Reaper moving into the main base, start working away on a drone, actually gets a drone. That's a Reaper well done. Give himself a pat on the back, but now there's 4 lings rushing after him. No speed. Oh, there's the speed started, just 2 in gas for KingZerg. And this is just a normal, I believe it was pool into hatch timing. Yep, those are the 2 queens, or the first queen the main started. Actually, I'm going to say it was hatch first, but not 100% sure there. Now we see the Reaper, as I was saying, jumps up there. There's still no speed, but Taranis has to be very careful. This is his scouting Reaper and any damage done Reaper just for the early game. Queen is now out though, so should be able to box it out pretty easily. Over on Taranis' side of the map, getting up his 3rd CC relatively quickly, and the Hellion onto the reactor. My bad. Factory onto the reactor. And I really like this move out of Terran just in general, not only in TVZ, but in almost all the other matchups. Either if it's TVP, you can kind of take your opponent off guard, or in TVT, you can do something a little weird, but still get damage done if you're just going a couple early Hellions, which allows you to have a little bit extra room to be able to get out this 3rd CC and not make it look quite as greedy. It's your compensation. But KingZerg over here going into Roach Warren. Now, this isn't a relatively incredibly quick Roach Warren. It is pretty quick, by no means rushy, yet it will easily be able to defend any of these Hellions that we're seeing coming out of Taranis. Just waiting for a couple more Hellions to come out. May move across the map, may not. We're seeing double engineering bay wall off. I've actually never seen this before, and I really like this on Terraform. It does have a very wide choke point, but actually now lings rushing into the natural base. How many? Only 8, but still that's 8 lings. Oh, one Hellion desperately trying to fend for himself, will get surrounded, taken out, and the lings working on the other Hellions. I don't think they can do it though. All very low on health, trying to get some SCV kills. Will they pick it up? There's 1 SCV kill, but won't quite get that, and all fry. 8 lings for SCV and a Hellion. Maybe not the best trade, but it was a pretty good trade right there. Not only that, but he scouted double engineering bay, which will allow this roach push out that will come out of KingZerg. 6 roaches. Possibly, he knows he can poke in there and get a little damage done without going directly in a line of fire. He'll be able to work on the engineering bays, possibly cancel some upgrades if he wants to. Not only that, he will somewhat hard counter this Hellion push out, but will he be in the right position? Going down towards the rocks and those line of sight blockers. Actually, both armies will meet each other. 6 Zerg versus 6 roaches versus 5 Hellions, and oh, Taranis does have to pull back. Lost a Roach there. Taranis' side of the map getting stim, getting that +1, and this could be a nice timing attack, but for now, he's not necessarily in a scary position. He's going to be able to defend these Roaches, but he's going to be kind of stuck in his base for a little while. And as I mentioned before, the engineering bay's at a very, I don't want to say bad spot, but it's a little bit of a scary spot. KingZerg can actually work away on these engineering bays if he pulls back a little bit with taking relatively little damage. Now, you guys got to remember, he does not have speed, so if Taranis jumps out really quickly, these Roaches may not necessarily be able to get away, but on the other hand, what is there actually here for Taranis unit-wise? 4 Hellions, 4 Marines, and all those Marines are in the bunker right now. Will a second depot go down? This is pretty critical at the 9-minute mark. Supply blocking Taranis. A Widowmine does go down though, so KingZerg cannot necessarily push into this, but right now, with that kind of scary wall, Taranis, he may get +1 attack. He may be able to push this off. But it's still, I don't know if it was the best decision. I liked it in the beginning. It's innovative, but still, he's going to take a little damage. KingZerg has to be very careful not to push too far into this because of the Widowmines. KingZerg is taking his 3rd base, more Roaches streaming across the map. The main and the natural are saturated, 23 in the main, or in the natural, 12 in the main. Not sure what was going on with his macro, but now getting layer, he's just covering all his bases. He's currently up, I think, 8 workers. Not too much of a difference, but oh, Widowmine does go off in the front of KingZerg, but like I was saying, engineering bays, that wall is a very juicy wall to go after. 2 supply depots and engineering bay have been taken down, and KingZerg is in a fantastic position. Now, he can't be aggressive into this. He's got to be very careful, but he can work on these engineering bays. Taranis desperately will be adding on 3 more racks and a starport. He needs a medevac. He needs something to support just how few Marines and Marauders he has here. Before this game actually started, Taranis was just commenting on how he was a little bit nervous. He hasn't been playing as much as he should have, and that may be kind of bleeding through his gameplay right here. He's got to be very scared right now. While KingZerg, on the other hand, he's feeling great. That little push out in the beginning really can throw you off if you're on the receiving end of the push out, if you're Taranis in this situation, it can really kind of throw you off being on the receiving end of such, not necessarily an early aggression, but aggression that gets that much damage done. It's scary. And for KingZerg, on the other hand, everything's going great for him. He's feeling good. And now he's even going to take out the rocks, as we saw. And that's just providing him even more defense on his side of the map. KingZerg's not, I don't think, committing into Roaches as much. That was just his build or order opener. Now going into Hydralis, getting a Baneling Nest down, and +1 Carapace. I like, as a Zerg player, or not necessarily as a Zerg player, as a player who's played Zerg before, I like the +1 Carapace idea because at the moment, I mean, the only upgrade KingZerg has is Metabolic Boost. So he's going into a plethora of units. He's got Baneling Nest, Hydras, Roaches, and not all of those upgrades will affect all his units. Obviously, +1 melee will help the Banelings, but the +1 range will help those Hydralisk and Roaches. So he's just kind of covering all his bases at the moment. What is the thing I have most of right now? And those are his ground units, just period, not necessarily range. So getting his +1 Carapace and is really just going to be on the defensive for a little while. Or not necessarily on the defensive, but on the passive, holding the middle of the map, holding map control. At the moment, he's got a beautiful, beautiful map control, but actually, one of his overlords may go over Taranis. It was one overlord for KingZerg is going to be in a scary position. Accidentally walked too far, and there KingZerg's fixing that spawn point. But that actually lets Taranis know, oh wait, those rocks are down. Working on it, Taranis' 3rd base is going. Currently, the economy is 58 workers for Taranis to the 66 of KingZerg. Not a big difference by any means. KingZerg's 3rd was a little bit quicker, but you always got to remember, as a Zerg player, you are looking to get that 3rd quicker to get your production up, and just in general, a lot of the build orders rely off that. Currently, Taranis is slightly ahead in upgrades, not too much. He's got +1 attack to the +1 Carapace of KingZerg. Now, I know in TVT, +1 attack is better, or I know in a lot of things, +1 attack is better than +1 armor. You will win if it's purely a move. I'm not sure how that works in Terran versus Zerg, but I guess we'll find out. KingZerg kind of posturing in for an attack. Taranis did not actually have his 4 Widowmines down yet, so that could have been a nice angle KingZerg could have taken, but Not looking like that at the moment. A lot of these overlords kind of meandering around in the middle, but there it is. Oh, big Widowmine shots do go off. Right now there's 6 Banelings, but oh, do those Banelings have Baneling speed? The answer is no, so this is going to be scary. How is this going to work out? A lot of Marauders at the front of the army. Taranis thought there'd be a lot more Roaches with this. And Taranis is pulling back for now. He's got this nice Widowmine wall here, but I don't think that's really... I don't think that's going to do a lot. On the other hand, KingZerg does think it will. He's pulling back. He did not have enough Widowmines with that force. He got a lot of Hydralisks, and he had a lot of Roaches, but that's not necessarily what you want versus Bio when you're about on the same army supplies. Right now, 91 for KingZerg to the 86 of Taranis. KingZerg is a little bit worried about this incoming. He's trying to damage those rocks a little bit on his side of the map, just to get them down to a point where when he sees the army through, he can break them down and then fracture the army into 2, a little bit like Protoss force fields. For now, though, Taranis is pulling. He's a little bit scared here. Currently, it's 2-1 upgrades for KingZerg's 1-1, and then does he have any melee upgrades? He does have the melee upgrades, so those Banelings will be a little bit more effective. But for now, it looks like Taranis moving across the map again. Still, these 3 Overlords, a lot of Overlords of KingZerg at this 4th base of his. He doesn't quite have them on the proper, what do I want to say? On the proper points moving across the map. So he could lose that potentially, but on the other hand, KingZerg moving the bottom part of the map, he sees no 4th base, at least in that exposed backbone position, and is going in for a kill, but at the same time, Taranis is going in for the kill, and it's going to happen a little bit quicker than KingZerg. Widowmine's going down for Taranis, and it's turning into a base race. Over on Taranis' side of the map, there's a lot of Hydras, a couple Banelings in this 3rd base. Beautiful part about Terran is you can just pick up SCVs evacuating the top right. But now, going back to Taranis on the other side of the map, Widowmines are down and actually working on these Overlords. Wow, completely supply blocking Taranis. He's not going to be able to push out units to defend this. Or sorry, completely supply blocking KingZerg. KingZerg's not going to be able to push out units to defend Taranis here, taking out the natural base and a lot of upgrades, both Evo Chambers, possibly even Overlord speed in the main, but KingZerg knows this is it for him. He's got to make something happen. Currently, by the way, I believe that KingZerg is still up on upgrades. Interestingly enough, Taranis is still up on upgrades. Interestingly enough, KingZerg went for 2 armor before the +1 attack, but now KingZerg's in the natural base. I'd love to see a siege tank coming out of Taranis, which I think he had, but it's not here now, and this is going into an extreme base race because Taranis was able to lift up his CC from the 3rd. Or no, it's from CC from the 3rd. It's still not there, but top right CC is going down for Taranis. He's in the main now, taking out all the tech structures, and this is going from bad to worse for KingZerg. Focus down the spawning pool, the Roach Warren, and now KingZerg essentially cannot produce anything. Taranis does have that nice Terran ability to lift all his units, lift all his buildings, and I think that may be what he needs to do. Losing a lot of SCV. Actually, are these SCVs going to get through? Oh man, 1 SCV barely gets through. Will be taken down by those Lings, but now I feel like Taranis has got to pick up everything. Maybe he's in the winning spot, but still, this game can go on for a while with KingZerg having this decent army. It's currently 84 of KingZerg to the 85 of Taranis, but Taranis is the income. At the same time, though, he's losing all his production, not lifting up anything. Both players are not supply blocked anymore. Yes, Taranis has 3 CCs out on the map, actually 2 orbital commands. But, I mean, this is so scary right now. How many workers just went down? 74 for Taranis, 48 drones for KingZerg, and now it's going to the 3rd base. Taranis is losing a decent amount of units here from these spine crawlers, but there's not quite enough to actually focus down specific units and kill them. There's just a lot of damage going overall on the Terran army, and that's not what you want happening as a Zerg player. There's so many medevacs with this army, currently 7 medevacs. They're able to heal, great healthcare here, and now KingZerg does not have a single build, only 1 building left, or no, actually, I take it back. How many buildings do we have left? We have the hatch in the bottom left-hand corner, so KingZerg is still not exposed, but now, let's look at the army supply. 75 for KingZerg to the 7. Taranis. This is all going to come down to micro. No Banelings with KingZerg's army. Pushes forward aggressively, trying to kill as much as he can, but that bio, that DPS, may be a little bit too much with these medevacs. Taranis has to be so careful. It's very even, but nope, Taranis pushing forward. GG. Taranis takes game 1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2nd game in the best of 3. This man in the bottom right-hand corner of Iron Fortress, currently up a game. It is the blue Terran player, Taranis. And his opponent In the top right-hand corner, hailing from Brazil, the red Zerg player, give it up for KingZerg. That early drone scout, again, coming out of KingZerg, and I feel like this is definitely just how he plays. Maybe it's a little bit of something that I've seen Cats before do. He sends the drone over, and his reaction is, if he sees a certain things, more so in ZVP, to throw down a proxy hatch. But no, it's that early scout to possibly cancel that barracks. Actually, I don't want to say cancel, to possibly delay the racks. But this drone is focusing down the barracks, not the SCV. So that SCV is like barely dodging the claws, going back and forth, dancing. He's got the guy shooting at his feet as he dances there, but that SCV takes 0 damage. Taranis perfectly again pushes it off. Taranis will be opening up into a Reaper fast expand. Now, obviously, this is a lot more intuition for KingZerg, and if I saw my opponent doing this as a Terran player, or a Zerg player, or a Protoss player, it is an early scout, but it also provides a little bit more opportunity for earlier aggression, because you do know where your opponent is. As you can see, Taranis is going in the bottom left-hand corner, scouting that first, then to the top left. So his scout is going to be very late. Maybe he'll see the KingZerg's Overlord on this right-hand side. Head into his base, a little bit of inclination. I don't know if I said that word right. I will hope I did. But Taranis, even when he sees... Actually, I think he will see it now. But still, it's going to be a delayed scout. Taranis sending his Reaper. Let's see where it's going. Is it going to the top right? It's going top left. I can't see, sadly. Nope, there it is, top right. We see from KingZerg doing a pool into hatch again. I still think it's pool into hatch. It may be hatch first, but I'm banking on that like last game. Looks like about the same thing. That early drone scout, maybe seeing if your opponent's being greedy to force out lanes. We are seeing 4 lanes started, 2 into gas, wanting to get that speed again. And KingZerg, like game 1, loses a drone. Still just kiting Taranis as much micro as he can muster. Taranis looks like he's doing about the same thing he did last game, which is perfectly fine. I'd love to see if we see that third CC again. For now, though, just the Reaper of Taranis dodging between these mineral lines. Jumps up on top of that cliff. Well, will he take out a Ling? He's actually taking out 2 Lings. This micro is superb of him. But now the Queen's out, and this Queen's going to make it tricky to jump up to the high ground, especially when there's one on the low ground. Get a little bit scary, getting heated here, and I think this Queen will take it out. We have 8 more Lings coming across the map, or at least, Reaper will get away with 1 health. Man, I hope the combat drugs are, come on, Queen. Queen did not believe as much as she needed to in herself. Now, though, KingZerg pushing out. Metabolic boost is still about 40 to 50 seconds away. So they're not going to have that big surge. Yet on the other hand, look at Taranis' natural base. A CC going up Hellions. But I'm actually worried. Yes, this is a fantastic part of the wall, but these early Lings are, number 1, going to scout the greed. That greed from this Terran player. But number 2, they're going to be able to get damage done. Going for the... just canceled. Again, this KingZerg does not go for SCVs. He goes for the buildings. For now, though, it doesn't matter. 3rd CC canceled. 2 Hellions are up in the main. 3rd CC started up on top. And you got to be really careful as Zerg not to engage in any situation, even as Protoss on the low ground next to cliffs, because there could be siege tanks, Hellions, Widow Mines. It's scary. But KingZerg lost a decent amount of Lings, but she got a beautiful scout. He may actually get into the main. Nope. That 1 Ling left all alone. He scouted the 3rd CC. Now, it was canceled, and he didn't have vision onto the high ground, so he doesn't know if it was started again. That was really weird, by the way. The little drop things for the mules were green, while Taranis is blue-colored. I don't know why that happened. But, I don't know. No idea why that happened. We see now what we saw from game 1, these Hellions moving out. This time, though, this is a key difference. KingZerg was not doing that Roach build. Or he's doing the Roach build, but it's slightly later. At this time, he had 6 Roaches, or maybe actually Taranis did not move out quite as quickly. I think that was actually more it, because of those early Lings delayed Taranis a little bit more than they are this game. Yet, KingZerg still should be prepared, and Taranis doesn't even scout into the natural. He says, you know what? Not going to risk it, pulling back into my natural base itself. And what does he have here now going up for a wall? He's started the supply depot walls, got his bunker going up, and he's looking relatively safe. An important thing to realize, though, Yes, he's got the bunker. Bunker's beautiful. Like game one, he not necessarily getting 3 bunkers, but you got to remember with a 1-1-1, or this is not a 1-1-1, with the factory, the Hellion opener, you don't quite have as many Marines. So yes, you can get up quick bunkers, but they're going to be empty bunkers. At least Taranis won't have to worry about that for now, since nothing's moving across the map. He is getting up his bio production. Stim's almost done. Siege tank coming out, getting up a nice defense. He did not scout that early roach timing, but he may assume, since it kind of went like game one, it may be those quick roaches. Yet for KingZerg, as I was mentioning, it's not a roach rush. It's simply a roach compensation. That's his defense for whatever he's doing. He needs a couple roaches out instead of getting out quick baneling nestlings, banelings, the bling composition. He's just doing these roaches. Lair going on the way and looking to take a third base for KingZerg, but nope, Taranis completely denied. That was pretty much the high five almost happened between the drone and the hatch, and the Hellions just went straight through. They caught that high five, shoved it back into the drone's face. For now, though, KingZerg still only has 4 roaches, but I mean, Taranis is not going to be able to break through that with these 6 Hellions. Maybe with some true passion, some true micro. For now, though, Taranis does not believe in himself either. Plus, 1 attack is on the way, and Combat Shield's getting up his normal bio composition. And now we're seeing this from KingZerg, unlike Game 1 doing that Roach Hydra, which just didn't quite pan out versus bio. He's going Spire. I am wondering if this is because his third base was denied. You can do 2 base Spire, because he was looking for a third base. I'm kind of curious if that was his compensation, but I don't think it was. It's a little bit of an overboard compensation, especially with those roaches only poking out now to see if the Hellions were there. On the other hand, the roaches got to be careful. Hellions are fast unit, so you got to watch out for them sneaking by you. KingZerg is fantastic micros, currently 26 in the main, 15 in the natural. I'd love to see him even that out, just because it's gonna kill me for a while if he doesn't even it out. Currently, 53 workers for the Zerg player, KingZerg, 47 for Taranis, so nothing too crazy. Both players, they have good macro, and they really know, okay, this is when I'm going to move out, but they already, there's a distinct disconnect in the lower leagues of, I'm going to make SCVs, okay, I don't need to make workers now because I don't have a third base. But there's also the stance, which is the much better players, simply, I'm going to keep, they have good enough macro that they can simply keep making SCVs. When they expand, they're already going to have enough SCVs there. SCVs. Taranis has been supply blocked for a really long time, and now finally 2 supply depots in his back. Always the plight of the Terran player. You can either throw down a whole bunch of pylons quickly with 1 probe, nor flush out a whole bunch of overlords. And 1 Ling of KingZerg does get into the third base. Now, it did die quickly. I don't know if it saw the siege tank, but that's an important composition pointer. It would have been Hellbat, siege tank, bio. Number 1 is incredibly gas heavy. If you can cancel some gases, you're in a great position as a Zerg, especially with mutas coming out. This is going to be a delicate dance, especially for Taranis, because he is going Hellbat siege tank. They don't shoot up. They look up with their eyes glaze over, and they're like, wish I would have taken that course at the academy, the shoot up course. Sounded really strange right there. With them combat drugs of the Reaper, maybe he's the real one who wants to shoot up. But for now, Taranis is getting up a nice defense. He's finally got Medivacs coming into this composition. And for KingZerg, third base going up, both players have been relatively passive. We saw some early game aggression, but overall their armies have pretty much stayed on their own side of the map. An important thing for KingZerg is, yes, he's going this muta composition, but he's only got 4 roaches. It's kind of the Zerg mentality. I'm going to get up a quick, nice macro economy and then make units when I need to. But for now, Mutalist engaging into this third base, but 2 missile turrets. That is a scary thing for the mutas to engage into. But like I was saying, they're actually going for the gas. 5 workers were on that gas, but now they're all rallied around that missile turret. Did a little roll call right there, and they will be able to defend that. I mean, you got to be so careful. So much economy went into making those Mutalists, but now that's a big tip-off for Taranis. If he can not take economic damage, he knows that it's not a 2-base muta, so it's a little bit better. The 3 base is a little bit better in this situation for KingZerg, but it's still scary. As I mentioned, only 4 roaches. It's that Zerg mentality of, I'm going to make a ton of stuff when you attack. But now, will that be too late? KingZerg spots the move out, and oh man, Marauders, Hellbats, Siege Tanks, they don't shoot up. Almost would have been a perfect engagement for KingZerg, but the majority of KingZerg's ground force is in his main, waiting for a drop. The third base is going to be a scary place for these queens, these drones to be, because Taranis moving in, siege tanks, siege up, hellbats, marines are there. Guys, there's everything a bio could possibly want composition. You got stim, combat shields, everything, and now third base going down. Drones are not being pulled. 10 drones have been killed, and now there's a nice siege line. Meadows are engaging, though. There's no banelings. There's only a couple roaches here. The bio right now, if we look at the army count, 96 to 82, that's not really the story here, guys. There's a lot of metas, and these metas do not do well head-on versus how many marines, guys? 29 marines. Winter mines are down, and this is just slowly edging forward. Taranis is going to slowly edge forward each time, and KingZerg can just do nothing about it. There's one thrower with the army. The Mutalists desperately trying to focus down as many marines as they can, but not quite happening. So many more marines gunning them down, and the entire army killed by siege tank marine bio. GG! Taranis takes game 2.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to support the ASL by hitting the button now.